Fear grabbed me. I saw homes, jaguars, and new people. I was thrown back to the table. When I awoke, the doctor stroked my chest. I sat up and he didn't move. When I returned, his wife and children, as well as his car, were present. I could sense his anxiety. I felt overwhelmed. These visions repulsed me, and I slumped into the table. As I walked away, I looked to my right and saw my body. A blue flash appeared to my left. Looking around, I noticed a light column fall to the floor. A voice on my right murmured, "It's all right, we'll save you." A blue fairy held my hand. A green light to my left grabbed my hand and raised it above my head. They shoved me up into the right corner of the room, blocking my vision, shaking them off to investigate. As the doctor attempted to revive me, the nurse placed an oxygen mask on my head while my mother crossed her arms in the doorway. I understood when the small blue angel stated, "We don't have time, we have to hurry." They led me into the column of light, which was a trip. Because motion and light made me sick, I closed and opened my eyes infrequently out of curiosity. I observed a dog lead someone up the stairway to heaven while traveling. The clouds appeared. I looked over my shoulder and down to see a large crowd gathered at the gate of heaven. The small angels placed me in a chamber to the right of the gate. Kneeling with your eyes closed for a minute. As I examined the chill, it vanished. I awoke in a cloudy room. As I reached the clouds, a voice said, "Don't do it. You'll regret it. You'll be lost forever." I turned around, sad because I wanted to die. I was not expecting this. It did not die, but rather live somewhere. As a 19-year-old, I was haughty and angry. So this is heaven. At least they could have given me a bench or something to sit on. I noticed a white marble bench below. Great, a marble bench. I bet this is going to be cold. Was not. Sitting flattened out a room corner. Dark, swirling clouds came. A brilliant light silhouetted 3 people at the elevator-like opening. I saw and touched. "See, I told you so," another elderly lady told my grandmother. A little girl squealed into the room and sat next to me as third. She wondered what occurred when the door shut. Her kindness appeared to pull out my fears, which I don't express to strangers. I went various locations with her. Initially resembled Christmas Carol. She showed me important earlier events, outstanding things I did, and stuff people said I didn't know. She showed me who my death and life would impact. Not much moved my selfish, arrogant 19-year-old self. Next, I awoke on a vibrant green field. Girl and 2 guys made southern hillbilly sounds. They laughed foolishly. I carefully stood up to see who was on the lawn. There was a decrepit shack there. I smelled the worst on a field breeze. When I saw them, talking individuals did not look like people. They had jackal faces on their overalls. As soon as they saw me, they ran to me. I was asked for my name and place of origin. Suddenly, one of them pointed skyward. As I stared, a line appeared in the sky, splitting it. An enormous brown beast jumped out and landed next to me. He had horns, 5 or 6 eyes, and cursed vehemently. He didn't look like a cinematic creature, but like a cartoon character. He stank and was annoying. His remarks consisted of curses and insults. I don't remember what he said, but he grabbed me and jumped back into the ski hole. We arrived on a space pad with TV screens. They were cubes, control panel designed in the shape of a podium. He stated that each cube contains a soul-specific hell. He stated that hell fluctuates as people adapt to different hells and become more tolerant. He enjoyed seeing people suffer. I was sucked into a little white chamber with a door and shelves as I moved along the cube wall. A stunning couple entered through the door. They were friendly and inquired what I needed. I don't eat or drink on unfamiliar land. I will not indulge till I am relaxed. I kept saying no. They pushed until I finally said, "Sure, a sandwich and a Coke." They left and returned. I left them on the shelf since I wasn't sure. I was then encouraged to eat and enjoy. I bit after confirming my ideas. Biting into it made me dislike the taste. I spit it out and bought a Coke since it was so bad. It was disgusting. I spit it out. They laughed as I fought to swallow the horrible taste. Heh, that was funny. I was apologized to and offered another. I rejected, and they reiterated their amusing vow not to do it again. When we finished conversing, I discovered that these 2 wonderful people had jackal faces with clear masks. I could see through their masks, which was dreadful. I was instantly taken from my cubicle. I instantly saw my darkest sins and placed myself in the shoes of those I was hurting. Without realizing it, I was insensitive. Reliving things I had forgotten or didn't care about was terrible and overwhelming. What I made others feel. The cold made me shudder. I realized I was somewhere. With tears in my eyes, I kneeled in a cave. It was gloomy with a low ceiling and cold floor. I felt abandoned and alone. I tried cave navigation at night. I got wet crawling and had difficulty standing because of the low ceiling. Was cold and did not want to get wet. An amber light appeared quickly. I wanted the light to warm it. I noticed a crowd kneeling at an aperture near the light. The inside was ablaze. There was a woman kneeling with her wrists cut, a man with a rope around his neck, and a man with a blown head. I tried to phone someone to figure out where I was after hearing screaming from the cave ahead. I was warned to be silent or I would be next. Then a massive, hideous beast dragged them out the cave. I was concerned that I would be the next one in the cave. I kneeled down and closed my eyes, tormented by my life's horrors. I opened my eyes and thought I may want to close them. People looked like zombies since they couldn't close their eyes, talk to others, stand up, sit down, or do anything other than squat on their toes and knees. You could only see the fire, hear the screaming, and hope you weren't next. A 40-year-old robed man with a trimmed beard and bald head was present. I wondered if it was Judas because he appeared monastic. After a while, my eyes burned so terribly that I decided to put up with the awful flashes in order to close them. I grieved silently as my horrific actions were revealed, and a voice returned. Thought, if you ask him, maybe he will save you. I said, say it, say the words, Jesus Christ, my Savior in heaven, please save me. After yelling, the flashes stopped. It was quiet. As I looked up, one man approached on a large stone chair. The silver-winged monster next to him wore a wing helmet. He noticed elderly males behind the woman to his left. Stargazing space platform. I saw Jesus with the angel on his right and Mary on his left. The aged men were most likely Abraham, Moses, Peter, or Paul. Jesus' disappointment humbled and moved me. The angel of the Lord asked, "Tell our Lord what brings you here." I replied that I did not desire an unfair world. He inquired, "Who told you it was going to be a fair world?" As if I were insane. My lovely girl swooped in and carried me down a dark corridor. When I questioned where we were, she replied she had something to show me in a wide foyer. The door opened, and several people emerged. I recognized some of the priests from my religious background in Versailles. That recollection returned briefly. As we entered, the room emptied. The Dark Universe's center featured a massive round table with a three-dimensional display. The old man questioned, "And why are you here?" As she led me to him, she explained, "Life mistreated me." He found it weird that I would think this and said that the globe on the table represented the universe, with all of the stars and their groupings having meanings. Star alignment influences births and deaths. He asserted that paradise receives a status based on their achievements and teachings. He remarked that people are never satisfied and always desire more. Heavenly souls match. He claimed I petitioned this council for material life. He added that I provided a compelling case and enlisted the help of numerous knowledgeable individuals to determine where, when, and to whom I would be born. My name was chosen with purpose, and I am accountable for my actions. He stated that I must keep my vow to the Creator or pay the price. He concluded his lecture by stating that I had been informed of the risks and consequences. Only the return to finish remains. There will be no edge talk. Disliked this when I was 19. He tossed us out of the room and slammed the door, so I assumed he was a terrible old man. Again, before Jesus on the podium, the Blessed Mother inquired about my education. I told her that it was wrong that I had to put up with people hurting me, that Jesus should protect me, and that if I returned, he would make things right. He responded, "My son, I cannot cause pain to another. I can only heal those who are broken." When I was younger, I tried saying, "I want to talk to the manager," and asking God. The Blessed Mother said, "You cannot see God." Jesus replied, "No one can see God." Enraged, she instructed me to prostrate before this great healer and beg forgiveness. I got down on my knees. My hubris left me disillusioned and astonished. I cried, and Jesus said, "Do you know why I saved you from the pit of purgatory?" I said, "No." He said, "Remember the old man, the one you thought was Judas. This showed me that you believe. You truly believe." I realized Jesus had always been with me. God was with me through everything, and my religion was more important than I realized. Even in me, he saw. Crying started, so powerfully that I froze on the ground. My blessed mother ordered me to kiss his feet. It's like crawling with a solid block on my back. It took 5 minutes to crawl 5 feet. I observed dusty, worn feet as if he had never worn shoes and had always walked everywhere. Despite my preference for baboon behinds, I kissed these yellow split toenails. I was jerked back into reality and yelled to stay. Mary said, "Give me a chance. Give me a chance to make it right." I thought, great, in the end. That means it will all be screwed up until I die. In the end, when will that be? The fast connection encompassed words, images, and feelings. I saw unexpected future occurrences that virtually happened. I returned through the tunnel and noticed an eye-shaped circle. It rotated like a clock, displaying people and places moving simultaneously. God revealed himself to me in the only manner I could. Despite Jesus' insistence that I couldn't see God, that image brought me comfort. God gave me the impression that Jesus was always with me, so I continued peacefully. My heartbeat resumed when I re-entered. Long-term lying resulted in pain, warmth, and discomfort. I couldn't answer for 3 days since I was in a coma. To avoid forgetting, I constantly thinking about my experiences. When I felt a warm palm on my face, I found it difficult to open my eyes. A brown-haired girl grabbed my hand near my bed. After waking up, I asked the nurse for her name and destination. She was appalled by my account, but she explained that the intensive care unit did not have any young females and had not allowed anyone outside in 3 days. For many years, 4 old women worked 12-hour shifts as the only employees. I assumed it was a dream, but she told me I died for 6 minutes and spent 3 days in the intensive care unit. The experience concluded today. This tale impacted us, so please subscribe and like the video. These ties allow people to share stories about hidden secrets. Shine your light and know there is hope beyond. The second tale depicts the entire afterlife vision. I hope you enjoyed listening. Storms and rain hit on January 3, 2018. Duck hunting with my friend's niece and father was planned. I became sick on vacation. We canceled our hunting trip owing to the weather. Because I felt terrific, I helped around the house while my wife worked. Following thermostat installation and testing, I discovered a loose floor transition strip. I stood up after succeeding. My chest vibrated like a pager after switching the TV station and scratching. That typically weakens and exhausts me. I told doctors about the butterfly sensation years ago when I felt my body closing down. My stomach did not vibrate, but my chest did. Tests indicated that I needed medicine for my erratic heartbeat. I stopped taking the medication during a hospital stress test 2 years later. Working out seemed more attractive than taking the medication. My heart started beating, so I took my blood pressure. 156/106, 75 BPM. Record high. Still, I was okay. I thought a hot shower might help. I realized I was experiencing a heart attack after the first excruciating pain. It felt like a 16-pound bowling ball up my neck and a truck on my chest. Trying to survive was worse than breaking bones or tearing ligaments. After learning CPR and first aid, I slowed down. After rinsing, I contacted 911 and my wife. I had another severe pain. Sitting in a recliner, first responders emerged. Paramedics followed the firefighters. I was questioned. The medic stated, "We have to go. We're losing him." Paramedics instructed the fire captain to detain and remove her. The medic inquired whether the fireman informed me on the route to the hospital. "No," I replied. He mumbled, "Great, always leave it up to us to deliver the bad news." I glanced at him and said, "I know I'm having a heart attack and dying. Don't worry about it. You do your job and I'll do mine by trying to stay alive." My pain grew. I overheard him talking about anguish. The ache subsided as the blood pressure machine tightened on my right arm. To make it, I asked him to press my right arm. His first error was assuming depression was common. "I'm not depressed." Locked down on my right arm, he claimed the machine was automatic. Pressure reduced as I urged him to tourniquet. "Oh no, it's too late." I shook uncontrollably. I felt chilled. The doctor said, "We're losing him." I blacked out. I awoke while being extricated from the ambulance. Before surgery, when the lights went off, I thought, "Thank God it's over." I was completely in darkness. This brought me a huge amount of love, joy, and happiness. Words could not explain my emotions. As my emotions grew stronger, a light appeared in my murk. People were silhouetted by a bright light. A person lay horizontally beside me, racing about the body. The lighting and mood were wonderful. 200 joules set clear. I exclaimed. No, it lurches above me and smacks the table, jolting me back to reality. Wow, that was the best sleep I've ever had. I felt great. What a strange dream. The male nurse resumed CPR. I remember being admitted to the hospital after suffering a heart attack. I kept my eyes closed. I was powerless to intervene or stop him. He is beating me. A female doctor removed an intubation tube that was barely visible. Someone on my right said, "Oh shoot, they're going to cut me open." My eyelids are flashing furiously as I stare at him. He looks down and notices me blinking and says, "Stop." No one listens, so they beat me. The nurse lifts the oxygen mask and comes to a stop. Says, "Yeah, I'm back. Get off me." As the nurses escorted me to the operation room, I extended my right hand, shook theirs, and apologized for bothering them. She sarcastically remarked to do it again. I wouldn't if they agreed not to strike me with another 200 joules. They stopped moving the cart and inquired how I knew. When the nurses sedated me in the operating room, I remember thinking, "I died on you, didn't I? You only shock us to bring us back." I assured the doctor that I knew what to do. The widowmaker was not acknowledged. He responds, "Okay, you do know you can't move when we're doing this procedure." I respond, "Better hurry. Tomorrow I'll tell my story to my loved ones." Someone wonders if I brought any more. Joke, you've watched too many horror movies. But then I look around and reply, "Yes, I did, but you're not going to like it." No one asked any further questions, so I quit. After the ruckus had faded, my best friend and others inquired. I say, "There's something coming. Thousands, if not millions. There's going to be a massive effort to save everyone, and we shouldn't do it." They add, "Is it a war?" I add, "It wasn't like I had a conversation, but no, it wasn't a war. Something about trying to save everyone, and don't do it." Another thing, if you think on your deathbed that you can just ask for forgiveness and it's given, you're wrong. You're going to pay. You need to make. People who demand belief irritate me. Free will exists for a reason. His goal is for everyone to discover it within. Follow your heart, do the right thing, and you will be fine. Amend. Returning has reintroduced childhood mistakes. I remembered foolish jokes that I told to make people laugh but actually harmed them. I've paid my dues since the heart attack. I constantly address inquiries about Jesus and the afterlife. I tell them, "I can't tell you what to do. You have to find it within yourself." I guess I'm returning to share my story and be a messenger. This incredible narrative reminds us of unfathomable truths that we cannot comprehend. We should cherish every moment, seek our own truth, and be sympathetic and forgiving. Following such a profound encounter, we reflect on the purpose of life and the possibilities of the world. It prompts us to evaluate our ideals, repair broken relationships, and seek love, compassion, and understanding. This fantastic holiday has inspired us to appreciate life. It urges us to be authentic, follow our hearts, and apologize when necessary. Let us cherish our time, love our families, and embrace each day as we reflect on this amazing story. Search for hidden mysteries till the next episode. Good job getting this far. Thank you very much. Please let me know who heard the entire tale by putting an comment on this video. I hope these stories benefited you. Please follow me and help me develop my channel. Expect your next video. At the age of 19, I discovered that my girlfriend was having an affair with one of my closest friends. I consumed a lot of narcotics with rum. Mom called for an ambulance, and I went to the hospital. They left before I arrived. I felt elated after drinking or using drugs. Who knows how long, but I felt as if I were asleep and drifting away. No drunkenness or fogging. My inclination was to grasp the bed and jump. Fear grabbed me. I saw homes, jaguars, and new people. I was thrown back to the table. When I awoke, the doctor stroked my chest. I sat up and he didn't move. When I returned, his wife and children, as well as his car, were present. I could sense his anxiety. I felt overwhelmed. These visions repulsed me, and I slumped into the table. As I walked away, I looked to my right and saw my body. A blue flash appeared to my left. Looking around, I noticed a light column fall to the floor. A voice on my right murmured, "It's all right, we'll save you." A blue fairy held my hand. A green light to my left grabbed my hand and raised it above my head. They shoved me up into the right corner of the room, blocking my vision. Shaking them off to investigate.